night. I mean, it's a Saturday night and you could be doing anything, right? I'm humbled to be here. You know, I started in the network marketing profession at 18 years old. And if you had said to me, you'd be, you know, doing this is, you're going back 20, almost 28 years now. And I would have said you're crazy. But what happened to me was, when I was 17 years old, my parents both had some health challenges. Unfortunately, both of them passed within about 6 months of that. So by the time I turned 18, I had no parents. And I was grieving. So I had somebody that knew me that was involved in a company called Cannuli. Now, it was a gentleman that I knew saw that I was grieving. And he shared with me this concept of being involved in a business. He saw that I came from a very entrepreneurial family. Everybody in my family owned a business. I never saw my dad work for anybody a day in his life. And so I knew I had to have a business, but I also knew it required payroll, employees, accounts, receivable, payable, insurances, just a tremendous risk. And I watched my family and stress that goes along with it. Well, when my parents had passed, they said to me, look, come to this meeting. And they invited me to a meeting in Augusta, Maine. And it was what they call a family reunion. I said, I got plenty of family. My last name's Cannuli. I got lots of family. I don't know, what's this family reunion thing you're taking me to in Maine, And so they said, no, it's not that kind of family. It's, our Amway family. And it's like, okay, so I didn't know what to expect in the barbecue. Got there were thousands and thousands, and Tom, you'll appreciate this, and John, there were thousands and thousands of people. And I got the opportunity, and I met Zig Ziglar personally for the first time. And then I met another gentleman, Charlie Tremendous Jones. If you don't know who he is, everybody's heard of Zig, but if you don't know who he is tremendous. And both of these gentlemen inspired me, but what happened was I went to this event, and it showed me a business that I could start from home where nothing could stop me from success. It didn't matter what education I had or didn't have. It didn't matter what color I had or didn't. None of that mattered. It didn't matter. And also, not only could I start a business, but I had the opportunity to be mentored by people that were already successful. See, in the business environment that I grew up in, it was dog eat dog. No one wanted to show you, if you had a garage, how to be a better garage. No one wanted to show you, if you were a plumber, how to be a better plumber, because you take their customers, right? But in this type of industry, people wanted to actually reach down and lift you up and help pull you up. And that was a cool concept. So I saw this. And then they said, well, you're 18 years old, and even though you're 18, we can help you build a business. So the person I ended up working with was one of Dexter Yeager's personally rolled diamonds, a gentleman by the name of Ted Fish. Ted was a minister, understood the grieving process because he was a minister in a church in Maine. And I lucked out. I found a mentor. And then did I understand what mentor was? Heck no. I was reading Nancy Drew. I mean, come on. Stephen King, Pet Sematary. I mean, that's what I was reading. Nothing wrong with that, but they gave me the magic of thinking big. They gave me Dale Carnegie, How to Win Friends and Influence People. Boy, that helped a lot, trust me. I mean, because people skills are everything in this business, I was a construction worker at that time. My family was mainly construction. I actually ran heavy equipment. So when they gave me these books, it was a paradigm shift for me, but it helped me get out of this rut. It helped me get through the grieving process. People wrapped their arms around me and they said, it's okay, we'll be here for you like an extended family. And it was a family reunion. How cool is that? So that experience is what got me into the industry. Kind of ironic how things happen for a reason. And from that point forward, I started like everybody else. I didn't know that many people. I went to my sponsor and I said, Ted, I said, hey, I don't know anybody. He said, it's okay, Tony. Just go out and find somebody that knows somebody. I'm like, okay. Then I came back to him and I said, okay, I found someone that knows somebody, but they have no money. And I said, well, just find somebody that has money. And so every excuse I had, he continued to take those excuses away from me. I come back to him, I gave up after a while, Joe, I just listen to what this guy says. And then he gave me the magic of thinking big, and he gave me Dale Carnegie, and Think and Grow Rich, and he started me down this road of personal and professional development. And I wouldn't be standing up here tonight if it wasn't for that. Are you kidding me? I mean, we used to try to figure out at the end of the day where the cheapest Budweiser was. I mean, and I went and I talked to my first few prospects were other heavy equipment operators and dump truck drivers. Nothing wrong with them. They're like, I gotta go to one of these meetings. I mean, I got grease all over them. How much is it gonna cost me to get in? And so I had to learn how to go out and meet people. I had to learn how to build skills. I had to learn this thing called the 3-foot rule. I had to learn to go out and meet people I didn't know. And then I learned this philosophy. He says, Tony, let me give you a philosophy that will serve you. He said, there's no strangers in life. Everybody that you know today, you didn't know at one time. except for when maybe you were born, your mom knew you obviously, but from that point forward, everybody you didn't know until they met you, right? Now they're not strangers anymore. So a stranger is just a friend who hasn't met you. I thought, oh wow, think about that. A stranger is a friend you have not met yet. And you don't know who it's going to be. You don't know when John Newton was going to cross your path. You don't know when Mary and Donna Hayes going to cross your path. Before that, you didn't know how good of a friend that they may become, right? So I learned this philosophy. So he taught me, because I had to build a contact list. Trust me, no one wanted to get in my business. I was like, at that time, plus I wasn't very good. In fact, I sucked. I was terrible. And prospecting, forget about it. You want to get in my deal? No. That's what it was basically back then. What are you doing? I'm doing it anyway, oh no. Is that one of those cults? And I'm like, well, this is cool. At least someone talked to me, right? So it was fun, but I learned a lot, and that mentorship, though, was great. And over time, he taught me how to go out and meet people. He taught me how to build relationships first, then prospect second. And the reason, there's 24 hours in the day. Everybody has the same compensation plan. Everybody has the same product. Why is it some people make $500,000 a month or $500,000 a year, or $50,000 a month, or $5,000 a month, whatever number that's out there, and other people don't make anything, or they make $10 or $20 or $100. Why is that? And that question, when people ask me that question, it's nothing to do with the company. It has nothing to do with the same negative relatives. Trust me, my negative relatives are just like your negative relatives, and I've always said that when my family gets into network marketing, it's time for me to get out. Serious. No joke. And to this day, and I've had some pretty dramatic success. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of millions of dollars in business for a handful of direct selling companies in my career, and none of my family members are in it with me, to this day. So if you have family and they don't want to get in with you today, don't worry about it. Now what will happen a lot of times is you start making money, and then they'll call you, and then they'll want to know what you're doing. So if you want to be in the 5% that's independent, don't do what the 95% do. Simple. You just don't do it. Whatever they do, do the opposite. That was kind of the simple rule that we learned. So what does a 5%er do versus a 95%? Well, that's why a mentor comes in handy, because a mentor will teach you the things. How does a 5%er think? How do they handle situations? What do they read? What do they listen to? What kind of meetings do they go to? What decisions do they make? How do they handle people? What kind of people skills do they have? If you learn from 5%ers over time, just like share with you could have the greatest company in the world, you could have the greatest compensation plan in the world. You can work hard as you want, but without really good mentorship and coaching, it is, and I'm not going to say impossible, but it is so improbable to have success in this industry. So you've got to find it. Now here's the good news. In every compensation, the reason why they call it multi-level marketing is because generally you have multi-levels of people that benefit by your success, right? So they have an incentive to help you be successful. So in every company, even if your sponsor quit, even if they didn't know more than you can usually find somebody in the hierarchy that will provide support and help. Now, I was very blessed to have a direct sponsor that, was a high pay level in the business, and that's one of the things that we do at the MLMIA is we're kind of like a surrogate sponsor a lot of times, because some people are kind of fledglings in companies, and they'll come to our educational trainings and teleclasses, and we'll help bring them up and help them grow their business, even if they don't have a sponsor. So we do that as well. But that's one thing. Put it on your list. It's critical. If you don't have a mentor, and when I say mentor, somebody that's been there, done that, someone that knows what it's like to build a business. Attraction marketing is great, but here's one of the fallacies that you hear in attraction marketing, and I really have a problem with this, because it's just the way it is. In attraction marketing, they'll say, well, get into a business and just put yourself off to be the expert. Now, what's wrong with that? Think about this for a second. Put yourself off to be an expert. Would you go off and put yourself off and bring in a brain surgeon and pretend? Well, we'll kill a few first. It's okay. No big deal. I'll learn. John, hey, come here. I'm going to check you out. You lobotomy? But in network marketing, you don't want to play with people's lives. So, if attraction marketing has been lately, and I've seen this online in internet marketing, where they'll ask people to pretend that there's something they're not. Okay, why? Typically, when you get into network marketing, what do? Make a list, set some goals, have a meeting, right? Is that pretty standard in the industry? And that's great. Problem is, most people don't have good people skills. So it doesn't matter if you make a list. It doesn't matter if you set some goals. It doesn't matter if you have a meeting. If you don't work well with people, if you can't build relationships, this is a relationship business. It's not a spamming business, where someone gets on Facebook and they send a link over and they say, hey, John, check this out, and you don't even know who the person is. There's no bond, there's no like, know, and trust, and which is how this business is being built. So at the end of the day, you've got to learn to develop relationships. And from there, once you've developed that list, and once you start making a list of people, and you start building those relationships, the mentor will help you develop. Now, everybody has to get on a course of personal and professional development. Network marketing, how many people think network marketing is about selling products? Raise your hand if you think it is. Okay. How many people think it's about recruiting people? Raise your hand. Okay, fair enough. How many people think it's about getting people in? Same thing. Well, no, I'm just messing with you. I love to do that with people. You're right. It is the same thing. Recruiting people, right? All right. That's what people think network marketing is. It's not that at all. You don't get to sell product. You don't have to recruit if you build relationships. You build people. If you elevate people, if you grow people, product will move. Now, what do I mean by that? If I'm working with Marianne, for instance, and I help her figure out a why that she has, something that she wants, and I help her realize that she's worthy of that, and I help her show her a vehicle that can help her accomplish that dream. Okay, I've turned her on. I've made her alive now to something real in her life. She's like, okay, wait a minute, I have the opportunity to be a 5%, right? Now, at that particular point, I've educated her. I'm bringing her involved with personal and professional development. I'm giving her the books to read and helping her learn and grow. She will automatically build relationships, will automatically attract. Now, this is attraction marketing, changing who you are. It's not what you do, it's who you become that will determine everything in your life. So who you become really is attraction marketing. And if you're the kind of person that's willing and able to help other people, and you become that person, then you're quickly able to help people and attract them to build a business. So it's not really about selling product, although we do sell product. It's not about recruiting, although we do recruit people. It's really about building people, growing people, and that's where we talk about developing leaderships. The basics that we do here, trying to go out and identify who do I talk to, how do I find somebody on Facebook, how do I find somebody on the internet, how do I find this contact, all that stuff's great and handy, but let me tell you, that's the how. Without the why, without knowing why you're here, none of that matters. Because you've got to be able to stay motivated. Now, how do you do that? Listening to CDs, reading right books, hanging around successful people, people that are inspired, going to meetings and events like this tonight, staying plugged in. I look at it as a 110 outlet. What happens if you unplug your appliances at home away from the 110 outlet? What happens? It dies. There's nothing left. It's totally isolated from the rest of the house. It doesn't work anymore. Well, if you unplug yourself, meaning that you don't go to the meeting, you don't listen to conference calls, you don't go to webinars, you don't go to events like this, you don't have that source of power. And people, you wash your body, you feed your body, you don't go too long without drinking water, without eating food. We all do that. What about feeding our mind? What about feeding our dream? We've got to keep that alive, especially when predominantly 95% of the people around you are kind of dead. So the reality is that you have to surround yourself with positive people, because you're going to have people that are going to say, you can't do this. And the other thing is, and it's an interesting study, but a 95%er has a comfort zone, just like a 5%er does. And a 95%er, not even knowing, I'm not saying they do this intentionally, but they will do it, they will hold you back because they don't want to see you come out of their class. Where do I want to be? And make a stand. And then when you do that, you make the decision, you make the commitment, and then you follow through. There's a lot of starters in life. There's a lot of starters in everything. But how many people finish anything? How many people go to the gym? The people say to me, well, why does so many people fail in network marketing? Most of the time, it's not that they fail. They never got started. They never got started. Look at it. Network marketing is a failure for most people? No. Network marketing is a work program. It's not a lottery. And this is a real business. It requires a commitment. Network marketing is a 3 to 5 year plan for most people that treat it serious. 3 to 5 years. The Achilles heel of network marketing is it's easy to do. That means it's easy